Why do some people seem to dislike us secretly even though we don't seem to have done anything wrong? Make them dislike you. It's a situation that many of us find difficult. Surprisingly, these secret grudges aren't always about what we've done. They can come from what other people have done. What people think about us, from our successes to the way we live our lives, are the silent battles, the unspoken judgments that sleep under the surface, impacting relationships and social dynamics in ways we may not currently get today. We're going to. To solve the mystery of these hidden animals, we'll look at 9 compelling reasons how people may hold angry feelings about you. In Secret, Stoicism teaches us that understanding the nature of our external problems is just as important as managing them what we feel on the inside. This insight not only helps us get across social complexities, but it also gives us the power to keep our temperament and honesty in the face of silent opposition. We value your participation and thoughtful responses. If you're new here, thank you. If you want to join us as we talk about these interesting aspects of human relationships, click the subscribe button. Want to find out what may be hiding in the shadows of your perceptions of others? Let's look at the subtle ways that people may secretly not like you and how Stoic wisdom can help us understand and deal with these hidden tensions. A lot of the time, envy and jealousy come up when we talk about bad feelings, which I find interesting. There are some things that people might say against us. Envy and jealousy are 2 of the most complicated ones. Emotions. We feel when we're with other people. How these feelings work is really interesting, can sneak up on us, or how we might see them unravel in the lives of people around us. Let us say you just got a promotion, or maybe bought your first house. While many people will truly celebrate your accomplishments, there may be a small group who sees your success. By looking at this event through a different, jealous lens, Pluto sheds light on it. He said something very wise. Envy comes from seeing other people have what we want. However, lack isn't just the desire that's important. It's also the sense that we're falling behind. This can turn admiration into something darker if we haven't achieved the same thing yet. Instead of being motivated by your success, someone else might see it as a sign of how they've done, of their own failures in friendship or work relationships. This could show up in the form of a friend suddenly being less talkative. When you tell someone good news, they might make rude comments or play down your accomplishments. If you see any of these signs, it's likely that envy is at play. It's normal to feel hurt. Stoicism gives us a grounded viewpoint when we feel angry or confused by these reactions. Stoicism teaches us to pay attention to our inner reactions and keep them under control. But instead of trying to control outside factors or other people's emotions, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have the power to erase that judgment right now." This is a strong reminder that we don't have to internalize the bad things. Instead of being jealous of other people, we can see their jealousy as a sign of their inner conflicts. Or unfulfilled dream, which has nothing to do with us personally. What this means is that we should not care about how other people feel, but how we handle those cases. With a kind of compassionate detachment, they knew where their envy came from. We can comprehend their hard times and not allow their views to ruin our peace of mind. Maintaining our peace and staying on our path is what it's all about. We are firm in our values and aware of how to handle envy. Also means creating a space where successes are shared and celebrated as collective successes rather than individual successes. This isn't just about humility, but about making a culture that values growth as a whole, whether among friends or co-workers, and support for each other. As Aristotle shown, the antidote for 50 enemies is one friend by pushing work together. With shared goals and less jealousy, we can avoid fights and make relationships better. Into opportunities for achievement as a group. There are a lot of times when a small misunderstanding can cause big problems. Think about the last time someone got your tone or words wrong. That one moment can change how someone sees you forever. Turning what might have been a simple conversation can turn into a source of anger. It's these little gaps that make people angry. What we mean to say and how it's received that can really come together. Others to see us as far away, disrespectful, or worse. Imagine being at work where things are more important and mistakes are more likely to happen. Maybe a manager gives feedback that is meant to be helpful, but is seen as negative. A worker who criticizes another worker in a harsh way might feel undervalued or attacked. Resentment or disengagement. This is what the original messages meant gets lost in translation, showing how important tone and clarity are in our communications. In these cases, Stoicism is a useful toolkit. It teaches us not to react right away to things we think are unfair or confusing. But if you want to get clear first, Epitome advised, don't be overheard complaining, not even to yourself. If we use this for misunderstandings, it means to wait. Stop assuring the worst and wait to make a decision until we have all the facts. We can ask questions to find out what the words meant. Effective communication. Stoic principles say that also means listening with the goal of understanding, not just responding. This is where active listening comes in, by really hearing what other people are saying. We get more involved when we don't plan our response or allow our thoughts to wander, and can understand what they're saying in full. This avoids a lot of mistakes that arise from not fully listening to conversations and disturbing interactions. Also, practicing empathy is very important if you want to understand what's going on. From the other person's viewpoint of view can show why they talked in a certain way. They might have been rushed, stressed, or didn't understand the first instructions. If we think about these factors, we can respond better and have a better understanding. When you're trying to get through the rough waters of communication, it helps to remember that everyone has their own style and level of comfort with sharing what they do. Some people may be more direct, while others depend on others to understand and adapt. These differences can help us do our work without as many misunderstandings. We will work on our communication skills, including clarity, empathy, and patience with stoic calmness. As a guide, we not only improve how we interact with others. This approach will not only lead to more good and useful relationships, but it will also solve problems right away and strengthens our long-term connections at the same time, making every conversation a chance to learn more about each other and respect them. Have you ever had a rather angry discussion with a friend about a goal or a family member? What about choices that just do not go anywhere? It's because of our core values. Our thoughts and beliefs have a big impact on how we see things and how we react to them. The way we see the world is shaped by them, and that shapes everything from the decisions we make. It's important to the people we care about when our core beliefs clash with those of others. It can lead to big disagreements. Plato said it so brilliantly. When he talked about the cave story, he suggested that what we see as real isn't really real, is strongly affected by our subjective experiences and beliefs. Picture yourself at a family reunion. In a place where everyone is supposed to do what they do, but you choose to do what you don't do. Some people might admire your uniqueness, but others might see what you do as undeserving or wrong just because their values require strict obedience. When it comes to tradition, this difference can cause trouble or even outright conflict. As each side tries to find a middle ground between their opposing points of view in situations like these, the Stoic principles give us a solid point of view. Stoicism teaches us what it means to understand and respect differences. Promoting a reasonable. According to Marcus Aurelius, you should take a detached approach to conflicts whenever you are about. If you want to find fault with someone, ask yourself, what fault is mine? Very much like the one I'm about to criticize? This approach from the outside. It urges us not to judge quickly but to think about our preconceptions and limitations. When people disagree about values and beliefs, it helps to try to understand them, rather than right away agreement. That another person's beliefs are tangible because they have different experiences and bring in new people, they can make things more respectful. And constructive discussions. Instead of threatening to change or persuade, we can try to understand and get along with each other by having conversations. Talking about different values can be enriching and give us a chance to broaden our perspectives and help us understand the world better. Like a conversation with a classmate from a different cultural background can show how values and practices are different, very different from our own, but just as valid and reasonable in their own setting. When done with openness and respect, these kinds of exchanges can lower the risk of conflict and make our collective empathy stronger. Stoicism also reminds us of how important it is to focus on we can't change someone else's beliefs about things that can be controlled. However, we have the power to choose how we react and how much these differences affect us. We can get where we're going if we keep a calm attitude and pick our battles wisely. Through the different social landscapes of life without losing our peace of mind, it's amazing how a few whispered words can change people's minds like a wildfire. With people long before the truth has a chance to put on its shoes. Let's say someone spreads a rumor that a coworker is going to be fired without any solid proof. This rumor could cause unnecessary stress and doubt on the team, which could be harmful. The record of both the person and the people who spread the gospel. Plato was very against gossip because he saw it as unfair. He thought that letting false rumors spread hurts both the person who is the subject of the gossip and everyone else who hears them. But it makes people less honest who do it. This ties back to his ideas on the Republic about how to make a just society, one where true and good things are valued more than lies and deception. In our daily lives, gossip may not seem harmful or even fun, but it has a big effect on us, is very likely to be bad. Think about a situation in your community. When rumors about a neighbor's personal life start to spread, it can lead to social isolation or mental distress for the person personified. Regardless of the rumor's validity, it's a stark reminder of how important it is to be careful about the information we share, and the discussions we have about Stoicism give us a useful framework. When dealing with rumors and gossip, philosophy teaches us to care about ourselves. Our actions and reactions are the only things we can control. Epiphany famously said, if you hear that someone is speaking badly of you, you shouldn't try to defend yourself. Instead, you should say, he obviously doesn't know me very well. Because there are so many other mistakes he could have made, he could have brought up this one. Helps us keep our fairness and focus on being honest instead of getting caught. In the potentially harmful cycles of gossip, Stoicism also encourages us to use your own judgment and only say what is necessary and true. By encouraging people to talk to each other carefully, we not only stop the spread of rumors, not only make the workplace more trustworthy and helpful, but they also make it a better place to work overall. Being a source of truth and trustworthiness among friends or in our family circles helps us become better people and strengthens our relationships. It's also good for us to actively stop gossip by encouraging openness and transparency. For example, if a workplace is full of rumors about how to run a stable business, can talk about these directly in meetings and give clear and honest updates on the health of the business. This openness can ease people's worries and stop the spread of false rumors. Going about dealing with rumors and gossip in a stoic way means not letting the unreliable affect us. Talk and whispers of others. It means culturing a strong sense of self and a strong dedication to truth that doesn't change even when false. When we follow these rules, we not only protect our own peace of mind, but also become shields of hope and honesty in our communities. This doesn't just lessen the bad effects of rumors, it also makes us healthier. And the legality of our talks with other people. Everyone has some kind of insecurity, right? If it's about how we look our careers or maybe our social status, these inside doubts can feel like a never-ending battle when they're not checked. They can push us to project insecurities about other people, turn internal battles into external conflicts. Imagine a coworker who is very critical of other people's work because they are so proud of their own, not like their job role. This is not just about professional jealousy. It shows how scared and unsure they are about their own abilities they really are. Carl Jung, a Swiss therapist, knew a lot about the power of projection. He said that the things we don't like about other people are really reflections of the things we don't like about ourselves. We deny or don't like what someone is saying when they project these feelings. Because I don't like this part of myself, I'm going to blame you for it. Unconsciously, it's a defense mechanism, and realizing this can make a huge difference. How we see interactions that may appear hostile or impossible at first. For instance, let's say someone is always angry or critical when you talk about your success or happiness with them. It might not be that they want you, but that your happiness with them. To the happiness they wish they had in their lives, Stoicism gives them a way in order to deal with these kinds of situations with grace and empathy. Stoic teachings remind us to look inside and focus on our actions and reactions rather than trying to. Marcus Aurelius told you that if you want to control or change other people, you should do this. If you want to find fault with someone, ask yourself, what fault is mine? Very much like the one I'm about to criticize. If you use this using an introductory approach, we can better understand and navigate interactions that are crowded with other people's worries, instead of being defensive when someone projects their own fears onto us. When we respond with compassion, we can see that their actions come from a place of struggle. With doubt or fear allows us to stay away from any ugly things they might project instead. Respond with comprehension and patience, along with being aware. It is important to be awareness of our insecurities and how we might show them to others. Being aware of yourself can help clear up misunderstandings and make relationships healthier. For example, both in your personal life and at work, if you find yourself. If you are feeling surprisingly critical of a friend's lifestyle choices, you might want to look into it. If their lifestyle brings to light your unfulfilled desires or insecurities. Also, Stoicism helps us do more than just be aware of our goals, but also to deal with their own fears. This could mean getting involved in. When you reflect on yourself, you should ask for feedback and set personal goals to improve areas. When we deal with the places where we feel unsafe head-on, we not only feel safer, but we also our ability to share our insecurity with others and also improve our overall well-being and low self-esteem. Personal insecurity and negative thoughts aren't just things that lead to fights. Learning about the dynamics of projection can help you grow and improve yourself, can help us build empathy, make our relationships better, and live fuller lives. It's about facing our shadows with courage and growing as people. A real acceptance and understanding of other people and ourselves. Isn't it true that we don't always understand where other people are coming from? This lack of stress and not understanding is like missing a key puzzle piece that makes the whole picture impossible to see. Picture a friend who is upset about something that doesn't seem important to you, like getting too upset about a small change in plans without understanding. Our first reaction might be anger or firing, but stepping into their shoes may show deeper problems. Maybe they feel like their needs are often ignored, or they desire stability. Because of past unpredictability, Plato stressed how important his dialogues show how hard it is to understand other people, showing how our perceptions are often limited. Our own experiences, a lot like the prisoners in the allegory of the cave. This analogy is useful to remind us of people who can only see shadows on a wall, that just because we don't see what other people are really going through or how they feel doesn't mean that reality doesn't exist. It's a call to expand our views and try to see beyond our small viewpoint. Empathy requires us to listen carefully and putting aside our judgments with an open heart. It's more than just understanding. When someone is feeling something, it means really appreciating their emotional experience. For example, if a coworker seems upset about getting constructive feedback for no good reason, if you know their background, you might find out that they've been in an environment before. Where this kind of feedback was used to punk and not support, this can change our reaction went from angry to one of supportive communication that helps build trust and a better place to work. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, taught a lot about the power of understanding and perception. He said that everything was possible. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. And everything we see is a point of view, not the truth. But this philosophy can help us deal with people who don't understand us. By remembering that what we think about a situation determines what we understand about it, this means we can be open to the idea that there might be other valid ways of looking at the same situation. To put Stoic wisdom into practice in everyday life, you have to wait before you react. Think about the other person's viewpoint of view and respond with a reasonable and understanding way to deal with people who cut us off in traffic. Instead of getting angry right away, we can think of situations that might help us understand why they did what they did. Even if they are in a hurry because of an emergency, that doesn't mean they can't behave. But it does help us deal with it better, which lowers our unnecessary stress and anger. Also, empathy includes how we deal with disagreements and misunderstandings. It's the difference between a conversation that turns into an argument and one that ends without a fight. To understanding and resolving things by using empathy. We not only calm things down right away, but we also build relationships that will last. Mutual respect and understanding are important parts of developing empathy. And understanding is more than just keeping bad feelings away from other people. It's about actively making positive, helpful interactions happen. It's a skill that makes things better, not just our personal relationships, but all of our interactions with other people. From casual dates to close friendships and business connections, we've all felt this way at some point. Maybe you remember how tense things were between team members. In order to get a promotion or even just get your siblings' attention at home, it's normal to want to do your best. Humans. That while it can drive us to do better, it can also lead to some pretty strong feelings. Aristotle had a lot to say about this. He saw rivalry as a challenge that, when met with honor, could lead to personal growth. People are pushed to become the best versions of themselves through competition, he thought. However, there is a catch when the desire to win overpowers. Ethical thoughts, it can change who we are and how we relate to others. For example, a sports team. When two athletes are competing for the captaincy, they might each be pushing themselves to do their best. To do better than the other by improving their skills and leadership qualifications. But if this argument gets heated again, people might do things like try to hurt each other, or hiding information that could help the team. This is what's different when it comes to competition, which can be both constructive and destructive. Stoicism can teach us a lot. When you think about managing competitive urges, think about Marcus Aurelius. When it comes to rivalry, this means that even when you're competing, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Maintaining our integrity and not giving in to small-mindedness or anger is important. Stoicism teaches us to pay attention to our own actions and growth instead of letting other people consume us. When we feel the need to beat other people, we know that we are really competing with ourselves. Is with us to get better than we were today, not just better than someone else. Think about the workplace again when the race for a promotion turns into a cutthroat battle. It could lead to sneaky behavior, rumors, or even sabotage. This is not only bad for personal relationships, but it can also make the workplace unhealthy. If, on the other hand, this competition is based on Stoic principles, it promotes openness, respect for each other, a focus on personal merit, and teamwork. Here, rivalry as a way to raise the bar so that everyone succeeds, is seen as a victory for everyone, and Stoicism helps us deal with. It doesn't matter if we win or lose in a competition, we can stay grounded. Winning shouldn't make us feel better about ourselves, and losing shouldn't break our spirit. It's all a part of life's changes, and our worth isn't based on how many wins we have. It's not the wins or losses that make us stoic, but how we handle them that makes a difference in the long term. Career relationships and personal well-being in the midst of constant competition. In our everyday lives, rivalry can show up in subtle ways, like between friends. Making fun of each other over whose lavish lifestyle is better or whose kids have done better in school. Focusing on real well-being is also needed to keep a cool head. Instead of focusing on how someone looks, we can create content that isn't based on comparisons. When approached with a stoic mindset, competition and rivalry can be changed. From a possible cause of disasters to a way to drive growth and performance. It pushes us to raise our standards of ethical and respectful behavior so that we can achieve success. We don't forget about our values and people. You know that cultural norms and social expectations can really change how we live and interact with each other, don't you think? We are often shaped by the expectations of others, whether they are family traditions or social pressures. You might not even be aware of how strong these influences are at times. That when someone goes against these rules, it can cause discomfort or even hurt, for instance. Fights between peers or in communities. Someone in a family that has traditionally valued law or medicine careers choosing to go into the arts. People might be skeptical or disappointed about this choice, and it's not always because of the family. Does not believe in artistic pursuits because it is not on their planned path. Plato talked about this when he talked about social roles and how important they are. Of everyone in a state doing what they are naturally fit to do instead of what society want them to do, stops them from doing what they're supposed to do in cases like these. Stoics say that people should live in line with their true nature, which is a useful point of view, and reasonable thought rather than just giving in to outside pressures. They teach us to question the status quo and figure out if these social expectations are in line with our personal values and what makes sense. Of the world, Marcus Aurelius, for example, stress the importance of doing what you want to do by your own nature and virtue, rather than what you're driven to do by the wants and opinions of others. Picture a young person right now. Young person from a conservative culture who want to marry someone of a different faith or lifestyle. They may get a lot of backlash from their community coming from a group expectation of homogeneity. This is the challenge not only for the person facing the backlash, but also for the community. To look at how unrealistic their expectations are, Stoicism encourages us to understand and respect that other people have the right to choose their own way. Drawing attention to the fact that real harmony doesn't come from being the same, but from being respectful. The coexistence of diversity is also a reminder of what Stoic teachings say. That while we can't change other people's views or expectations, we can change our own how we respond to them. We can choose to respond with patience, clearancy, and honesty, keeping our self-respect even when other people don't like us. Not only does this Stoic resilience help people deal with social pressures, but it also sets an example for others who might be in the same situation. Also, in today's globalized world, where different cultures and points of view mix, this is the most important time to talk about how social expectations affect people, and an opportunity. It's a chance to question old rules. This is similar to the Stoic idea and aims to create a society that is more open and diverse. That being willing to learn from everyone, not just people like us, is what makes us wise. So, Stoicism gives us the courage to live honestly, which is good for us. Not to follow the rules blindly, but to think carefully about what really matter to us. We learn to be true to ourselves and stand by our values even when others try to change them. Going against what people expect us to do. By doing this, we not only recognize our own dignitude, but also raise the bar for what is acceptable when it comes to gradually changing things. What people expect from society. Have you ever felt ignored or unappreciated even though you put your heart and soul into something? It happens to a lot of people, and it can make you feel very angry, especially if the effort was made, isn't recognized, and this lack of recognition can affect many parts of life. Whether it's a work project, a family event role, or giving money to a community effort, it can feel like they don't value you when people don't thank you for your work or what you bring to the table. Aristotle talked about how important it is to be recognized. In his idea of honor and virtue, he thought that praise from other people was important. When our contributions are recognized, it shows how good and excellent we are. Not only does it feed the ego, but it also validates our efforts and confirms our place in a social group. Or professional circle, it tells us that what we do doesn't just matter to us, but also to other people, like those who have been a part of a volunteer group for years, always devoting time and energy. If their work is constantly overlooked, they may not only feel undervalued, but they may also become angry. But the lack of recognition could also make them less likely to participate in the future. Is not just a personal slight. It affects the morale as a whole, and can even have an effect on the group's effectiveness. Stoicism is a unique way to deal with these feelings. Even though praise is nice, Stoics would say that our sense of self-worth shouldn't change. Marcus Aurelius stressed that real satisfaction was based on external validation. Comes from knowing you've lived up to your own morals and standards. The best way to get back at him is to be different from him. Who did the injury he mentioned, suggesting that our reaction to being overlooked should care more about our own evaluation than approval from others. Using this Stoic wisdom means staying true to our values and efforts no matter what. Of recognition teaches us to be strong and trust ourselves, reiterating that our actions have consequences, should be informed by personal integrity and not by the desire for applause. This point of view is incredibly freeing because it takes the focus off of what other people think. But it's also important what we know about ourselves and what we've done to talk about our needs for recognition in the workplace. For example, letting your supervisor know that comments and acknowledgement are important for your professional growth. What you do to find a balance can lead to better communication and appreciation between not only relying on external validation and also not forgetting about the natural people want to be recognized, and they also want to be proactive about recognizing others' efforts. Can create a spirit of thanksgiving around us when we make it a point to accept. When we honor other people's contributions, we not only make them feel important, but we also set a standard for how to handle relationships and recognitions in our teams or communities. Lack of recognition can be painful, but Stoicism helps us deal with it. Our confidence in our rights and actions rather than in what others think of us. By following this principle, we give ourselves the power to keep making important contributions. No matter how often they're seen or celebrated, this approach not only makes them better. It not only makes us emotionally strong, but it also helps us see the value in others, making the environment more helpful and positive for everyone involved. Remember that even though our paths are connected to those around us, the real path. Embracing Stoic principles is the way to understand and be strong. We can get through life's problems with grace and courage, which can turn problems into opportunities. Into opportunities for growth as a person. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening today on Deep Stoic. If you found this discussion interesting, please watch one of the videos on your screen to learn more about the rich world of Stoic philosophy. Your participation and ideas make our community stronger, and I'm glad to be a part of this journey with you. Stay strong and wise until next time.